morning, good morning, good morning. It's Valerie here saying a very good morning to you. Hope you are having a wonderful start to the day. Most of you will be in launch mode. Launch mode meaning this is when your day begins, probably stepping out of the house. Oh, actually by now already finishing drop off if that's what you do, heading in for work, grabbing your coffee, settling down, launch mode. I too am in launch mode. I'm about 5 minutes away to actually finishing a really exciting project. I almost came on this morning singing to you. Hey, you're good looking, what you got cooking? Got lots of things cooking. And you know, it was kind of difficult for me to get to the end of this project. And I just wanted to hop on and encourage you in whatever it is that you're doing. More than likely, if you're someone who's following me, you probably subscribe somehow to maybe the kinds of things that I talk about, my orientation and my perspective. And more than likely, you're probably going to be one of those people that push and achieve and do the things that you do, not because you are likely to revel in fame and fortune, but probably because you're just trying to figure out how to make all of this stuff work for you. And I just want to encourage you that pacing is an incredible gift and an incredible mindset and concept to embrace. And probably pacing was best taught to me by my forage into running, in my up and down relationship with running, where I actually realized that there are going to be times when you are going to be tired, but that doesn't mean that you're not still heading in the same direction that you originally were. There are going to be times when you might make a decision for resourcing, for your body, for what you need to figure out in your day. That means you might take a different path. There are going to be times when your seasons where maybe the road ahead is more downhill, and you can cruise and you can pick up your pace, and there are going to be times when it's a little bit uphill. But most of the time, you're also going to be a space in reverse engineer, a point in your reverse engineer mode. Good morning. So what is reverse engineer? Well, before I tell you about my reverse engineer mode, let me just show you where I'm sitting today, because it's kind of comical from my perspective. I'm in my home office, and see over there? That giant Post-it big notes. I was very excited to discover that Post-it comes in giant size now. Side note, I love stories of entrepreneurship and businesses, and the story of Post-it is really fascinating. Probably originally thought of what a dumb idea to make little pieces of paper sticky, to now being a fantastic idea. And when I saw this giant Post-it, I thought to myself, this is how great ideas start. So obvious, so quirky, and uber useful. And that Post-it tomorrow is going to be stuck all around the walls of my home office, because if I could, I would write on my walls, because I've got a couple of things cooking. I am in 2020 mode already, and I've got some bombastic ideas about what I want to do. But I also want to show you what's underneath here. That's Teddy. He's in my office, always in my office. And I've actually got my emoji slippers on. And though I'm speaking to you about all these ideas, I'm actually in gym gear from the bottom, because as soon as I finish my Zoom consult, I'm heading to the gym. What do I mean by reverse engineer? Let me flip my camera. Reverse engineer is a concept I use for almost everything in my world, including parenting my own children. Okay. Reverse engineering pretty much just means that you have you have an idea of what good or healthy looks like. You know, I like doing things in increments of 5, 10, 15 years. For my children, I pretty much map out their ages at these time points, and I have a solid picture of who they are at those time points. You know, who their friends are, what they're doing on the weekend, what they're doing each weekday, what's important to them, what makes them happy, what makes them sad, will they have a dog with them, those sorts of things. So solid, really, really solid. Now, yesterday I had the great joy. I'm a bit of a personality, what shall I say? I love personality tests and interpreting things through personality. And yesterday I had the great joy of meeting the adult versions, 2 adult versions of my son. It's a very unusual personality type. And as I gazed upon these individuals, I thought, this is actually the solid picture that I have for him. Here they are sitting there. And so you have a solid picture of these time points, and that includes anything else that you're working on right now. It could be your business, it could be your practice, it could be your family, your relationships, whatever it is. And you reverse engineer, and you have a look and you see, what is it, 5, 10, 15. Now, having a few timelines is really helpful because you can then sort of look and see the seasons. You see how this is seasonal? Because what's happening in your kids and your family and your relationships and your business and yourself is impacted by the season that you're likely going to be in. And when you figure out that sort of seasonal view, what you're doing now just gains clarity and perspective, right? Because it makes sense of the challenges that you might be experiencing. So if I have a tiff or an argument at home with one of the kids, it helps me to forecast and say, well, that's part of the development trajectory of our relationship and their personality for what's going to happen in 5 years' time. In 5 years' time, they probably really are going to be the sort of person that will challenge organizations and institutions. They're going to be one of those employees, or they're going to be one of those people that are probably going to go out there and wreak havoc on all that is established. Well, it makes sense that now we're having a tiff over whether or not socks should be worn this way or that way. You know, you look at the season and you say to yourself, oh, I feel so like everybody else is running so hard, or everybody else is doing so much more than I'm doing. And then you realize, oh, wait a minute, that's because I'm in pacing. Because where I want to be, or where the season now is, and where the season is going to be in 5 years is going to look like this. So I think I'm 45. Yeah, maybe not, almost. But I always sort of look at the seasons ahead and really think of my 50s as being a time where I'm probably going to be in a higher gear of life, given the sort of season of where everything else is going to be. And I can be patient, right, with some stuff, and decide that, well, pacing is probably where we're at for now, on track for what's coming up in 5, 10, 15 years. So reverse engineering is a really helpful concept for me. It just helps me stay grounded. It really helps me stay in perspective. It helps me to be compassionate with myself and with others as well. And puts me in the zone of, probably for me, a really important playful space when I can sing in my head that song, hey, what you got a cooking? How about cooking something up with me? I think is what it is. That could be talking about something else. Anyways, I've got to go for my Zoom consult. It was lovely, lovely chatting with you. Now I've got to figure out how to get back. Oh, very interesting. Okay.